Ladies and gents, good evening. Welcome to Question Time Live, episode 127. Crikey. How you all doing? Hope you're well. Hope your ponds are well. Hope it's not too cold. Been biting a bit on it last couple of days. Really sensed it. Even just tonight, sort of finishing. I've been at fish houses a lot. I come out, I was like, ouch. So noticing a bit more steam. Absolutely bellowing around as well. Oh, yeah, crazy stuff. But it might have cooled down a bit, but it is absolutely relentless work-wise at the moment, I must say. Loving it, but I've got a Japan trip right around the corner. And yeah, the hours are just getting absolutely swallowed up completely. It's mad, but like I say, all good fun, really, it is. So, ladies and gents, while I waffle for a little moment, feel free to get loading me up with questions. I think was it last week? It was mental. I don't even think I even got to quite got to the bottom at pile on it. So, yeah, and channel-wise, finally, Japan videos. I think the second to last one has been live a couple of days now. And the very last one from the last trip is there. And I've actually got a full week-long episode that I filmed one of the weeks since I've been back to pop on as well. So, yes, finally. And it's been magical. Aaron is back in the house. I am so happy. Actually been filming today as well, the superb batch of Saito Kohaku that I've got. It was a great video. And yeah, it's just good. It's just good. And that freedom now, we've already got another one planned this week too, actually. Hopefully try and get done and squeezed in. Probably more if I had more time. It'd be amazing. So yes, I've seen all the bits pouring in about Christmas decorations. If you was in the WhatsApp group the other night, what I walked into when I got home was quite remarkable. Just carnage with all the decks going up. She's done a great job, bless her, but wow. And then I sat down to do the WhatsApp auction and I got a, hey Siri, play Christmas songs. Oh, literally listening to me. They're going to come now as well.
Christmas station now playing on Apple Music.
No, thank you. No, I'm having no more of that. So I very quickly, for a while, I actually scuttled off into the garage and sat watching my fish while I were doing it. But then I had to come back in because I couldn't rely on the connection. So, damn. But yes, as you can see, you can catch the wind a lot. It's actually really cool. She had an artwork done with a friend and Harriet, and they've all actually painted some shit on my window. Awesome. Great stuff. I like Christmas, by the way. I think it gets dragged on far too long. It's just the little period itself I quite like. Bit of family time. It's all good in it. Yeah, crazy stuff. So I'm looking at all this. The Christmas stuff is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Right, no Christmas songs in the background at all. Sorry. Other than that, I don't know if there's really much more stuff to report. Was it? No, it wasn't. So, yeah, the Black Friday stuff that we did. Thank you to everyone for the support with that. That was absolutely mental. I can't remember when that ended. Did that end this weekend or was that last? I don't even know. We might have even done a live stream since then. It's all just blurring into one. Absolute joy. I'll tell you what, I'm going to ping a video over now because I was checking in on the ponds the other day. If you followed the Golden Corn Grow Out series this year, you know I'm aiming to grow a mega collection of 60 centimeter Nisai. And I'm on track. They're all hitting around the 50 mark at the moment. Bodies are looking amazing. The quality of what's in there is nuts. It will need one more thin out before I get to that point, which is going to absolutely kill me to do. It was hard enough at the last one. And we now there's one from last year that's now Sansai, just over 2.5 years old. That was it was the absolute top of the top Nisai last year. Wait till you see this. An original type one as well, best original type one I've had, and it was a big Nisai. I can't remember exactly what size this thing was. Oh, I've not got my Wi-Fi on, but anyway, I've been growing it for the customer who bought it, and I had a feeling I might be able to get to about 75 centimeters on it. So I think I'm going to be just short by the end of December. However, this fish at 2.5 years old is 71 centimeters. And remarkably, I think it was the batch that arrived were about 15 to 18 cm when I got them as Tosai. And there's been there's been gaps in that growing in between as well. It's absolutely remarkable what it's done. So I'm just going to reroute this video so I can get hold of it. Just picking it from one to another. Yeah, amazing. And just amazing to see that yellow base with that red Kanoko in the way that it's formed as well. It's stunning. Right, I think I've got it. Just bear with me. Crazy stuff. Right, here we go. To check when you see this, just remember that was, like I say, 15 to 18 cm tops. Balmy thing. Here we go. Oh no, there we go. Just check that out. Got a bit of a weird mucus bleb on its face. Ignore that. That'll just clear up. They tend to go in little phases like that. But check out the rest of it. The body is nuts. If you ever wanted to see a body, knowing the genetics, that can grow to an outrageous size, that is it right there. Backbone's absolutely bursting through. Look. But just look how good the quality of that Ginrin mixed amongst it as well, with that level of Kanoko, the scale separation. Like I say, what's it going to be? 2 years and what, about 7 or 8 months now? Let's just play it once more. It's madness. 71 centimeters. Grown in a 3.5K pond. There's currently 16 fish in there, I think. There's been more. It's been thinned out, and obviously the thinning out helps me increase body volume more than anything. But it's only been maximum of 22, I think, in there for the bulk of the summer. And this one, really, that Kanoko has come stronger and better this year, as I expected it would do. It's a little bit lighter last year, but I could see the potential in it. But as anything, it's a colour that needs to be developed, that red within the scale. It's just amazing. Actually, quite sad, and this happens with me, that's going to be, I think, just after Christmas, it's going to be leaving. When in all reality, I would love to see how far I could take that. I might have to have a word with the owner and see if I can convince him he doesn't need it in his pond for another year. I think he'll have enough good ones going that day, but let's see. That is, for me, if you ever kind of get why at times, I don't show, so you might think, why is he not pushing themselves? It's the challenge there. I've taken that, identified it first from a batch of 500 it was at the time. So, and then to get that through, eke that potential out, and potentially take that where it could go to. I mean, we should be hitting 80 cm with that next year with ease, and even more mass that will come. It's getting the chance to do that and actually prove it, test yourself, push it is the real value in that stuff for me. So yes, There we are. Incredible piece. But this, I say, this year's batch, the real aim is by this time next year, I've potentially got a pond with 16 of those swimming around, which would be madness, almost pointless from a business perspective. But I just think it's cool, and I like the thought of the challenge of having a pond full of corn at that size and that level. There we go. That's how the madness ticks. It really is. So, suppose 10 minutes in, I should see what questions we've got. Like I say, guys, get firing them in. I know you do as we go along, but I will start at the top and work my way down. See, we had a few very early birds actually. Oh, funnily enough, when breeders create a new variety, golden corn, for example, do they own the rights to the name? Is it then impossible to have another breeder selling golden corn? No, they don't own any rights. And as you will find happens within the breeding community, if you like, often when you get something, I think there's an element of some stuff wouldn't just be copied. Golden corn's tough because that's how he's literally named the variety. But what can tend to happen is breeders, as they will, if they can get parent fish, might want to start reproducing popular things, make their own version of it. You've seen it with like mango karashis and stuff like that. So, but there's not ownership of it. Some parent fish names and bits are a bit closer to brand. But in the case of like golden corn being a variety name, then absolutely not. Like I say, not seen it recreated yet, that in particular. But I have had my suspicions that Azumi was trying to do something. Who knows? But yes, that's generally how that is. Evening. Oh, Satch is getting me every week with these ones at minute. Crikey. So, other than NND and the team there, what's had or been the biggest influence in your koi keeping so far? Well, obviously, those guys have been a massive influence. Fujo himself, as a father figure, has been not just in koi, in the kind of broader business of it, and even who I am, the way I look and see things, think about things, has had a massive influence on that side of it. I suppose throughout koi, there's been a lot of people over time that I've taken lots of bits from. I think that's probably the big thing with this. It's the scale of the learning that's probably been the biggest influence. So many places I just always seem to get those chances. I've had, one-to-one lessons with the likes of Kansuke, Ogami, other people, so many that I've been blessed to be able to have. And that's all what's gone in here. And and in the end, I absorb it all. And then with my experience now, I test things, try and translate it and find my own combination that works from it. So if you take even now my approach to growing fish in concrete ponds, a lot of that was actually taken from the time of my work experience in Japan the first summer, from the mud ponds, and I've adapted and tweaked things to make that into and something, then figured out, learned, test, improved it, tweaked. So then principles can apply to the concrete pond and go from there. But other than that, I really think it's at a point where I say biggest influence. Yes, them guys. I think the broad scope and spectrum of the learning from being in Japan, so many things. I just never, any opportunity I can get, I'm always asking questions, getting stuck in. Even now, look, it's all started all over again. We're 23 years in, and with the breeding challenge, any opportunity I can get, I'm chatting backwards and forwards like Hiroshi all the time. Anywhere I go, if I'll ask questions, if they're willing to talk, boom, we get stuck into it. And it's amazing to be able to get that and then actually take it away and apply it as well. But then I think biggest influence is just experience overall. I can't, for you guys as well, it's going to be the most important thing and biggest influence. Even look now, it's just the sheer amount of fish I've always been around. I do actually look back and say an important part of the time I spent working in my dad's shop, back in the day that was not just koi, it was tropical fish, it was everything. Marine, used to import marine tropical from all countries all over the world. So again, we talk about experience, how that scales up, how you take techniques from settling down sensitive tropical fish and all the rest of it, and you throw that into the mix. And then on top of that, the amount of people I used to deal with, and you're talking people who's never kept a fish before. And I think the mentality there that came from my dad in that, you know, towards customers, that you want to try and teach, educate, and as a result of that, hopefully you make them successful fish keepers and they keep coming back. So I think there from that, you know, I got used to, you know, just how, even just, you know, what people wouldn't tell you when you're trying to diagnose a pond, just a problem from some symptoms you're being given. So much, and so just huge amounts of experience, different experiences, like I say, that's all got thrown in the mixer upstairs and come out the other end of it. So I would say that's been the biggest bit. And you commit the time, you know, and that it comes from there. So if we talk about it to this very day, it is all that's gone before. You talk about fish selection, you know, there's a reason I can sit here or just that experience and answer all of these questions as I do for 120 odd hours. And it's how it's got to the point where I have got my own philosophy and how it's built. It's because of the influence of all these things over time that's come in and been mixed. And I say fish selection is so hard to teach, but my mentality has always been, you get the exposure from Japan, but I haven't learned about, say, Otsuka or Sagi by speaking to him and learning from him. I've picked bits up about his bloodline characteristics, seen interesting things, asked questions, but the influences came and the impact on the learning has come from having them, growing them, see how they work, selecting them, you name it. So if that even really makes sense, Satch, I think, like I say, experience and just exposure overall has had the biggest influence. And again, nothing beats time, patience, and I've not always been the most patient with it whatsoever, but certainly now as I get older, I sort of see the value in that, and patience in koi keeping is really important, especially when it comes to that development side as well. So good question, mate. You made me dig deep again for that one. Answering just outright koi ones so much easier. Let's have a look. Paul. Hi, Rick. Have you had any feedback from the indoor lights some of your customers were trialing? Yeah, the general consensus, Paul, is I'm not overly impressed. I think, and this is what I need to delve into, for color thickness, not great. Some of them are managing to keep a bit more intensity in the color, but it's still thinning out a bit. And from what I can see, and I've delved into it, the lighting setups, there's multiple complications in relation to a pond. So if we just look at aquarium lighting, as I'm getting more involved in at the moment, just look where they generally sit on the tank as opposed to where pond light sits. And the issue with penetration below the water surface, if it's already mounted on a roof, by the time it's hitting the surface of the pond, it's probably about gone. These things just don't. And we'll look at plant lighting, which is probably one of the closest that needs to be linked for a pond for what's needed. And then you look at like the power consumption, scaling that up, the reach of those lights, adding UV element to it. The whole thing is mighty complex. Now, it's not to say it can't be achieved. Obviously, it's done amazing. You know, marine guys do a phenomenal job. I'm looking at that all the time. But again, you just look at the scale they're operating on and sort of closeness of the lights to the water surface. So much there. You scale that up to a pond, and it's just madness. And that is the biggest part of the problem in all this, unfortunately, Paul. Just paint my skirting boards while I listening to you. Chris, if I know you're into that, mate, I'm going to think very differently about you. What's your maximum stocking density for your 3,500 gallon ponds with the larger core you have, and why, please? So this always, I come back to the same thing on this. It all comes down to feeding still for me with stocking levels. So how many fish I keep in a pond if I'm not feeding heavy? It could be 3 times the amount. The pond I've just spoke of where I've been raising that golden corn, I've been a lot more disciplined this year at 22. And they were big Nisai and Sansai that have grown through, but eventually it's come as I kind of reduced it down 20, 18, at 16, you just see the results get better and better. So you've got a thing here, there's an old saying that goes around that volume equals volume. So that applies to, big ponds, but even just the amount of sort of volume per fish as well in relation to what body volume you can get on them. So I don't really have a fixed amount, Ben. It's all about management and what I need to achieve overall. But if we're going to use an example there, I think that seems quite a sweet spot around. If you really wanted to, I think, take them all the way, I would be looking around 10 to 12. But I'm talking to do serious stuff with these over 80 centimeters with volume. Other than that, that pond I speak of where the golden corn's been has looked very comfortable. It looked very comfortable at 2022 fish, and you would keep growing them, grow them to a great size, providing the filtration can keep up with the food. You see how all that goes around. And I always say when you're looking at stocking levels, we need to look at really feeding levels and what the system can cope with before we get to it. So, yeah, again, depending on them needs, you could be anywhere from 10 to 20 fish long term, depending on what the end goal is. Even more if big sizes are not the thing for you. I'm suddenly fascinated with Aragoki fish and watching a video of yours from 12 months ago. Will you be getting any more of the Marido Deutsch Chags? They look epic. Possibly. We've had the Deutsch Karashi this year. It just depends on what's available. Ultimately, the Deutsch Chag will come from a Deutsch Karashi spawning. There wasn't really any of them in this mix. So let's wait and see. I'll be there soon. People asking me about stuff coming up. I when I'm there, I will go looking around. I'll see what's in. But then not only on top of that, decide what I want to have a play around with this year. So let's wait and see. But yes, very, very cool. Absolutely not. Swindles. As and when you eventually find a plot in Japan, would you have a crack at your own mud ponds? I mean, ultimately for koi breeding, they are essential. I don't know about my feelings necessarily for the Nisai onwards. Given the work, the unpredictable nature of them, obviously I have a culture. I do things indoors now. You could argue, and I've done something, was it yesterday, that really made me quite happy. The Karashi that I've been raising, you've all followed the Marido ones. I had to move some we'd sold that I'd been raising in that 1,200 gallon pond, move them into the NND mud pond Nisai, where they're all overwintering together now. And honestly, you could not tell them apart in relation to size. They're matching them, body volume, they're matching them. I know you say it's Karashi Go Sankey, those characteristics still, it doesn't matter. All there. And that's been done in a very densely stocked. When you actually consider the end stocking level of that Karashi pond was only half of what was in that mud pond, and the volume of water disproportionately larger. So yeah, for fry, it's an absolute essential. You can't do the breeding job properly without those mud ponds. For the rest of it, I couldn't answer. I don't even know my true kind of thoughts and feelings on that one. I suppose I've not had a mud pond where I've fully been in control of it, and how practical that will be, who knows? So yeah, time will tell, mate. But from a breeding perspective, I could say essential. Thank you very much. They did do it, and I'm quite impressed with that bit of artwork there. To be fair, Hi, Ricky. Your video yesterday from NND, you spoke about a female show you thought was male and mentioned about a disadvantage being in a male pond and could have had a better year. Can you explain? Oh, yeah. If that was the one I'm thinking, not the one. So that happened twice. Two fish in 2 days at NND that were thought to be male turned female. One was my own, which was a double-edged thing. I was delighted about it because I mean, as a sales proposition, that's just gone to a different level. But I was hoping that fish could be a good potential male parent. But in the case of the other one, it was actually a customer's fish. I think it's just the way it's been kept. That pond in particular, I know there was an issue while I was there in the summer. A fish spawned. I don't think it was the only one in there that was a mistake. This fish was too small to spawn. So and so it's predominantly male parent fish in there as well. So there's been a spawning, which naturally puts a pond at a disadvantage. I don't think particularly the attention to the raising in there was at its highest because you think, it's just male parents, keep them ticking over, keep it sound, ready for the summer. Some no color food either, quite possibly. I can't remember seeing it when I was up there feeding a few times as well. So that's really where that's at from a disadvantage perspective. I think it's just a level of attention given to it overall, and the fact I know that there was fry swimming around in that mud pond for a period of time, which is never ideal for the end results. Brilliant. If you had a pond with full-grown koi, in what would your feeding regime be and why? Again, Ben, it depends on temperatures, what it is we're going through. I think there's this misconception flying around like an old wives' tale that when they're older, you shouldn't feed them growth food, which is an absolute load of waffle, by the way. Because if you've got bigger fish, more mature, and you want to bulk them up, or you've got that water warm, you need that protein, fat, you need the right balance still in that food with the carbs to keep and maintain body mass, even if you're putting it on. So again, it will come down to the whole environment and situation. If you're keeping them cooler, then you might say, yeah, there's no need for that. Just keep them on a balance, but you still want to maintain the color, so there's still color food. So for me, it would be no different to what I'm doing for any other fish, and the environmental circumstances would be the biggest dictator on what I would do in that scenario. Thank you very much. All gone except for the one. Very, very interesting Okawa Kindai Showa that I've got, and it's the only one that's not been snapped up. And I often see it because it's a fish that I know needs a bit of time. The sumi's not there, but I've seen its progress. I think it's an amazing potential fish. Just one of them that I often know. You give it 3 months, just break that sumi through a bit more. You put it out, and people go mad for it. Just often in that scenario, if it gets to that point, I'm not going to feel obliged to put it out there at the deal it's at today because its saleability value is just completely changed at that point. Hence, if there ever is fish like that I back, it's always worth putting that trust in because, like I say, a lot of instincts, coming back to that first question there, it's I tend to know how these things pan out. Unfortunately, hence why I try my hardest not to have to sell them at times. It's just in these scenarios, I have to make some tough choices every now and again. So, yeah, it's a great fish. Brilliant. If you could only ever grow one type of koi and from one breeder, what would be? Oh, Chris, that's an absolute bitch of a question. Oh, crikey. You've got me now. I can't imagine. I can't imagine a world where that exists. That would drive me mad. It's again the natural curiosity. You want to try different breeders, bloodlines, varieties, learn from it, you name it. So I think if I was absolutely pigeonholed in, God, That one's nasty. That is nasty. I tell you what, I'd have to go for yeah, I was gonna say Sakai Sankey. There we go. It come out. Probably that one. Yeah. But that's a load of shit in it with how much I clearly like Showa. I'm moving on from that, Chris. I don't like you anymore. That's a horrible question. Yeah, there we go. Yes, it's very similar to that one that the Grinch wears. Oh no, we've got another one here. What are you doing to me, guys? If you could only have 3 koi in your pod, what would you choose? Only one go Sankey. Oh, for fuck's sake. So, in complete contradiction to the last bit, I'm going to say Showa. Golden corn. I absolutely love them things. And oh, crikey. Cheer up, sorry. There you go. If you ask me that again in 10 minutes, I'll probably give you a completely different answer. James, not 100% sure. We're getting the quarantine finished off right now. And then we've got a couple of a pond we're actually preparing tomorrow. I've got my Japan trip, so we will get that booked in and let people know that's in relation to the Dainichi Toyota Tosai selection. But yeah, getting very close now to getting them in the big pond. Maybe. Let's see where it ends. Oh, is in. Do you mean my other ones I'm growing? Because if not, that update's going to be a while. Because I'm really not disturbing them. They're on a build up, real nice build up process at the moment. PP video. Yeah, I tell you what, Ben, completely forgot all about getting that finished. It's because that period when Aaron left and we didn't get it all done. I'm not even going to comment anymore. We will get there. I can tell you that at some point. All the best intentions. Oh, wait, oh, that's from the crikey. This is from just showing that golden corn video. Hi Ricky, what's it like to live your dream and breed and name your own koi? Crikey. It's amazing. I'm still not 100% sure it's fully sunk in, because what happens with me is I go into becoming very, very critical. So already I'm that focused on the what's next, the changes next year, this bit, that bit, all the rest of it. Do come back. It's a joy having them there every day, and obviously even starting to see them change now as well. And and I understand. I think I don't want to get too carried away, because it needs time. I've got time to study, see how they develop, they actually progress, because something I might be seeing as a bit of a negative right now. I've got to remember that they're young and they're going to change. I need to see how they react. See, it's crazy. I know how to select Showa. So many other the experience I have with NND, even with more Dainichi Showa, you name it. These are an unknown quantity right now. So it's coming back to that patience to see how it all pans out. But to have even got there is just unreal. It really is. So yeah, but now it's more, obviously there's this huge road ahead to actually do what I want to do and what I want to achieve, and the challenge of actually becoming a breeder is no easy one. It's going to be relearning, or not relearning, learning so much that's just a gap in everything I have done. That there is a gap, and it's all right again having the textbook knowledge and understanding. There's nothing like the direct application and learning from the trial and error. I'm the biggest advocate of that. My new pond starts end of March. At the moment, I run a double depth Momotaro show with 160 kg of BHM and 220 litre bio on 4,000 gallon. New pond around 6,000, 7,000 gallon. Would you put more showers on or bigger bio? I I would say for me, bigger biomark in that scenario, 100% is where I would be at. Fluid bed based, if you can, K plus from what I'm seeing a bit more and more. Absolutely. I think would be the move there for me. Once the fish has finished as such growing in length, can you still continue to push the body volume by thinning out the pond, as you mentioned? Yes. Yeah, that will always help control and manipulate volume, if you like. But yes, you might even extract a bit more length out of it, Mike, in doing that, mate, to be honest with you. But it also, if a fish, when they get to a certain age, it really is about maintenance. If anything comes along, and it can take a lot of food, even just to maintain the volume that you build up. What can happen is as they get older, the fish will, if they lose weight for whatever reason, it can be very hard to regain it. I think as an age thing, I think possibly because of the amount you would have to feed, that process is building up over years and years and years. So, yes, good question. Daniel, can't be, man. There's no other golden corn in existence, and I've certainly not heard of Wada doing it either. My dealer told me the breeder of the snow asagi I got them from is INC. Is there such a breeder? Yes, INC is Isawa Nishikigoi Center. That is Toshio Sakai, the younger of the Matsunosuke brothers who went out into Isawa Prefecture. However, he's not somebody I keep up with other varieties he's breeding, other than knowing that there's the three core Go Sankey there, Susan. So I can't provide any more information beyond that. But yes, INC is legit. Hi, Ricky. How often should koi keepers add beneficial bacteria? Literally depends on what you want to be doing. If it's even something in your routine, depending on what product it is, go with whatever dosage. They might vary. There's nothing harm with adding some every week. I would say is probably a minimum if that's the route that you're going down. Adding something. So I think it's always better for me for doing stuff little and often as opposed to big hits on lesser occasions. Happy days, mate. Happy days. Oh, here we go. Not another one. Here's a challenging question for you, Ricky. My two N&D shear up, sorry. Can you get them both to the size of the Akar one I won last night in one of the prize competitions? Amazing. Got a massive, got today, massive thanks for you and the team. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah. Can I? Yeah, no chance I can get. Well, I could get them to that size, Paul. We might not like what I'm going to charge you to do it, mate, if I had the pond space. But congratulations on your win. That's reminded me, actually, I'm doing a shit job of promoting this. I wonder if I've got it here. We've got a mega prize competition running, and I have got them. I'm going to grab them in a minute for a phenomenal golden corn in the WhatsApp group. I've not, however, posted a link. I can do that after update the description to get into it. The link is in the WhatsApp group. If you're not in there, you can get in, and I'll be sharing it again soon enough. It's one of the best, same batch as the one I showed at the beginning, but this is the white base one with the yellow Kanoko. Absolutely out of this world and a beast of a fish. Planning to create a filter system based on your keep it simple method, brush chamber to move in bed with K1. How much K1 would you advise? We plan for 30,000 litre pond, gravity fed, 2 drains. So the more the merrier. You can look. So I can't even remember this now. Is it 60% roughly, up to a maximum of 60% of the chamber volume is what you can have to create an efficient fluid bed. So I think was it 33 to 60%, I think. So if you're maxing it out at 60%, you are going to be limited by the chamber size. First of all, if you've got an open book on that, you then want to be looking towards the potential feed load of that and what that might give you based on how much media you've got. I can't remember that number off the top of my head. And I know from the last conversation I had with Jasper as well, he must have some absolute wacko spreadsheet that gave me, we was talking about fish load, size of fish, volume of pond, the protein of the food. Absolute madman. He really is. So love it, by the way. Without going that in depth, there is some general stuff you can look at on EA's website, I believe, that might help you out. So you've got the chamber size, it's going to govern you, and then look at your feed load. And you can do some rough calculate. There's also calculators that give you an approximate weight. It's a chart that's out there, approximate weight based on the size of the fish. So what you could do, for example, is if you really want to do this the way I would recommend, say, right, I don't know, I'm planning to have maybe 20 fish of 80 cm, just let's say, and you can get an approximate weight of them, work out a bare minimum feeding them 1% of body weight per day. That's going to give you an amount of food that you might want to process through your filters. And from there, you can plan how much K plus you might need or K1. And then from there, that'll tell you basically what size your chamber needs to be based on 60% of the volume being for filter media. Hope you find that useful. Decoy TV, what is your conditioning process? Say you need to prep for a show, how would you handle it? So much out there on growth, not much on getting the best shiroji, keeping the body created, etc. Yes, I have touched upon this a fair few times. Just general conditioning straight away. Whenever your pond's warm, you're firing growth foods down and color foods down, and you're naturally going to tint the shiroji. It's never going to be its absolute best. A proper show conditioning program, you would be working towards a date. You would have a period to do it to the level they do in Japan. You know the starting size of the fish, you know the size class you're aiming for. So you're going to know potentially how you need to control it. Does that fish need more volume? So does it need a period of growth? And you're looking at this over a spectrum of potentially even 12 months. Does it need more growth on it? So at that point, I might have to hit it with more growth food. It's going to dictate the diet. Do I need to bring that color on? Does the Benny need improving if it's something that's Benny based? So, and then you think of that, but the very last bit, so that's over a broader period. When you come into the last kind of period of conditioning, ultimately the real tactic to get Japan show level bodies, you've got to bear in mind, you want to be at a period, say 18 degrees. If you wanted to really push the Benny a bit harder, you could go solely that for a period of time and then hit them with a whitening food. The only one I've seen that really works is Saki Pure White. So you can follow after that. But by bringing the temperature down to sort of 18, what you can do at 18, you're not burning too much of the body off. So the period up to the conditioning phase, I think you want to be feeding to the point where you basically almost overfeed. Just take the body a little bit beyond where it looks a bit uncomfortable. That gives you that bit of wiggle room that in the conditioning phase, if you lose a bit, all good and well. But then also when you get to the point of being in the sort of starvation period before the show, there's enough wiggle room there that if you lose that extra bit of percentage, you actually end up at a point whereby the body's just at the perfect one at that point. So it's really, case by case with the individual fish. Shiroji is easy. I mean, ultimately, when you take them away from if the quality of the shiroji is there, you've just, environmental factors have taken it away from its best. The minute you remove them environmental factors, you change it. So generally my conditioning period, without being too, mad at it, is to drop down to 18 degrees. You change the diet. So go on to Saki Balance or like Pure White, something like that. And really improve the water because I've reduced the feeding massively. The water condition generally improves. As a result, you get your shiroji starting to glisten. What we're not doing at that point is we've done all the work on the Benny and it's not, we're not stretching it, doing it. So it's just a period of consolidation for that as well. And that's where that one goes. But as a tool to really sharpen Shiroji quickly, Saki Pure White is phenomenal. I've seen it. It really does work. It's crazy money, so you've got to question whether you actually need it or not. But say 2 to 3 week period of using it's crazy. But if you're using it, you want to use that and that alone, because part of it is the ingredients that actually detoxify the body. Now, there are other foods when you're using growth. I spoke about it. Kenko Kanri, the He Silk 21, for example. Silkworm powder is apparently a very powerful antioxidant in the skin. And from what I've seen of using that all them years ago, I would, yes, 100% say that's fantastic at maintaining Shiroji while the fish are growing. So yeah, not again, it's hard to give specifics because literally, if I've got metallic fish or pond full of Shirotsori, you name it, I've got to handle the requirements. So at a professional level, it's then about having multiple ponds so you can get different things going on. Does that need 5 cm, or is that fish half a centimeter away from in its optimal size class? And I need to size control it a bit and just maintain the body. So if I was doing that, I'd be keeping it a lot cooler. I'd probably be even chilling the water to keep it down and just maintain body volume. So I hope that is useful there for you, buddy, without going on about it all night. Here we go. So it's gone that far down. I know it's about questions further back. Yes. Crazy Chris. Now you see, there you go. I weren't even thinking of it. That'd be absolutely top of the list, wouldn't it? They're just not. They're not questions I'm prepared to entertain. This is the thing I'm going to have when it comes to the old breeding larking. Is like, what do you actually want to specialize in? Everything. Can I also say thank you to the team and Susan who received my 2 Sakamaki shows today from the Grow Out Pair of Beauties. Amazing. Thank you very much, Paul. Next week, buddy. Can't quite remember what that bit was in relation to Susan. I built a little DIY box filter filled with alpha grog on a small growing pond. What would you say is the slowest the flow rate should be? I'm looking for good retention time. See, this gets interesting because if that pond, depending on the size of that pond, you might actually need a higher turnover rate because depending on the setup you've got. Now, again, it comes back to what you've got going on in that pond. So if you've just got a few fish and the feeding's not heavy, then yeah, once every 2 hours will probably suffice. If you're stocking that and feeding it how I probably would, you want to be turning it faster. But then also your problem is because of the filter, you might not be able to get away with that. Hence why I do like the trickle tower design that I've got for the smaller ponds, because I know I can get a higher turnover through it and still get efficient biological filtration. But if you aim for around that once every 2 hours and just increase, I think up to a maximum of once an hour if you are heavier stocked and heavier feeding. But I'm sure I can't remember what the calculation is for figuring it out. Not a fan of alpha grog at the best of times as well. It's sort of like slower the better, that one. So you've got a bit, and if it's just a small box not holding a volume, this is where you're juggling all these different things in order to get your optimal. So I would suggest, Jason, as well, just bear in mind, pay attention to your water. If your parameters are all good with how you got it set up, leave it alone. If they're not, you might need to consider slowing it down. Even in the rare occasions, speeding it up. But I say that's under the circumstances I just mentioned before. Hi, Ricky. Hope everything's well. When is the video coming out of the NND Maru show? Yes, absolutely, mate. That one is sat there waiting for me to drop it. Might be tomorrow or Friday, either one. Finally good to go, so stand by. That's the video with my Miss Toyota, the harvest, and that amazing NND mud pond. It's feature length, and yeah, pretty cool. Oh, there you go. It's an extra filter, so just slower. You know, slow it right down. You don't need thing. But again, before you go tinkering, is everything all right? What are your parameters like? Because if everything's good, leave it alone. Always a thing. If it's good, leave it. If something's not right, investigate and see what you can do. But it might literally just be trial and error to get that optimal. There we go. Look, I'll tell you what, before I forget, let me show you what madness I'm getting up to with the next prize competition. So this one is £15 a ticket. There's actually a multi-buy on them as well. Let me pop this one on now. Look, you're gonna love this. Oh yes. Look at that. I can't remember how big it is. It's big. It really is big. Let me have a look. So this one, again, raised up from around 15 centimeters. This was pretty much, I remember it well, pure white, few tiny specks of yellow Kanoko on that one. So that is currently 62 cm and still growing to the end of December as well. What a fish. What an absolute rocket. And I have a video as well. This really shows it. I can find the right one. There we go. Right, let me change my screen over here and show you this one. Wrong one. Right, try again. There we go. Oh, what a beast. What a beast. That yellow Kanoko. The head pattern's changing at the minute, starting to get really interesting. But just look at how thick that backbone is piling through. The Ginrin through it again as well. I am an absolute lunatic putting this one, but I've only done it because you guys have given me the best support in all these so far. I thought we'd do something wild. That is wild. It's a mega opportunity, this one. So if you're in the WhatsApp group, the link is in there. If you're not, you can get yourself in. I'll be sharing it again at some point. And after the video, I will put a link in the description. So if you're watching it later or you come back to it, it will be in there to get yourself involved. And please do. What an amazing opportunity. £5 worth there at retail. Not only that, you just can't frigging find them. You know, even at Taniguchi, you can't just walk in and buy one of them. They're always generally already a customer's fish or something like that. There it is again, look. Picture doesn't actually do the body any justice, and the thing looks a hell of a lot beefier again already. Oh, there we go, Simon. Praise will get you everywhere, mate. It really will. And good evening. Ricky, you planning on getting any of the new colour Tamasaba, black and white and tricolour? Yeah, I've had them. So I had them the first year NND did them, the Kawaris. And in fact, here we go. Let's share one more picture. I'll have to send this one. The reason I stopped last year and the year before, I think, or maybe I had them the year before, and I think I had them and I ended up just selling them because being a newish creation, the body form just wasn't there. And you know how obsessed I am with this stuff. It's so important. And it is. That's ridiculous. So I kind of moved away from them now. This autumn, I was there when 2 trucks, Nisai and Sansai, come back from Okada. And all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, you're cracking this. With some of the colors and patterns and stuff that I saw, absolutely got me re-engaged. But recently, let me get this picture. I'll say recently, was it last year? It was. There was one he had when I was buying some bigger ones because I'm wanting to grow. You know, my obsession with growing them beastly. And this particular one was very dark. I did not like it in the slightest for any of its pattern elements. I just saw the body form and I was like, I can grow that thing huge. So I bought it. Now it is growing huge, absolutely ridiculously big. However, in the past month, all the black has receded and I've got a full-on pattern. Now, if you're not a fan, prepare to be absolutely disgusted. It's not the best video because it's that big. It's flopping all over me and you name it. Check out the fucking size of that. Some will say monstrosity. I love it. That is only 3.5 years old now. Now, yes, I've said it. I don't mind admitting it. I don't have very big hands, but that thing is savage. It's huge. And I have no idea how big it's going to get. It's got the right body just to keep piling food at it and getting bigger. And now its pattern's changed. I think it's seriously cool. So either get your head out the toilet from throwing up or pick your jaw off the floor if you're impressed because you love them. That thing is a beast. So Susan, I am very, very much involved, as you can imagine. It's just for me, you have to look at things. And I just wasn't impressed enough, but I can't wait to actually see what he's got this year, seeing now how that results at those bigger ones is. Oh, there we go. Looks like, yes, you have this a lot, Daniel. It may well look like, for me, a big part of golden corn is the genetics. I think it's a really, really important part, is what makes them golden corn. There we go. Look, agreed. Oh, here we go. I forgot. Yes, and no doubt that's the one you could do with one of them, Lorraine. Cheers. I do feed Saki Pure White. Was the 12 months prep and targeting regime info I was after? The koi go Sankey. Appreciate the answer. Also feeding larger koi growth. Look at that. Yes, absolutely. Essential. Absolutely essential. I need a moment. Have a bit of a drink. I can see, you might see it. I can feel my eyes. They feel sore. Because declining entity past about 7 o'clock. I am shocking. Ricky, is it advisable to turn down a pump during the winter? I have a 10,000 vario on a 1,000-gallon pond, currently running at 50%. Yeah. 10,000 vario on 1,000 gallons. 1,000 gets about 5,000 liters. Fam, you could get away with turning that down a bit, Sean. If it's unheated, see no issue with that at all. Still waiting and hoping my golden corn will develop Kanoko. Hang in there, Susan. Hang in there. Evening, mate. Building a new pond after Christmas. When it's ready, would you add any type of filter start to the bio? I didn't to the current pond. Don't remember having any issues. Winged it though. For me, yeah, you don't want to be adding anything until you need to create food source. So you need to get a bit of ammonia kicking around before you consider adding anything. Just depends how extreme you want to do and how quickly you want to push it kind of through the new pond syndrome and trigger it. But there's just variables, you don't want to be too cold and hit it too hard. If you're heated, you can get away with a lot more. Ponds, I've had shipments come in where we've cleaned them out. They've been a bit fresh. And all I've tended to do is I've seen the ammonia spike come. I've upped the temperature right up and it rectifies very, very quickly. And it's mainly that bit you want to skip through quickly, is we don't want them having any ammonia exposure for too long. An update on Thomas Sabo. There is a video, Aaron. Actually, I was having a chat with him today. He needs to get sorted. We filmed it a while ago. For some reason, I don't know why we've not managed to get it out. But there we go. I've got no idea, Paul. No idea. It's going to be big, though. It is going to be big. Yes, Andy, it's sat there, and I forgot I've mentioned it. I want to set a day for the premiere of it. So I was actually discussing that today, whether it should maybe be over the Christmas period when people can really sit and watch it. but it will be in that kind of period. So look out for it. There we go, Chris. Might be that. I know we converted you, pal. You really do. It is a lot of it with a lot of stuff. When you see the good ones, it can change your mind. I crack you at the bottom. Who would you say is the best breeder to produce Deutsch, Sankey, Deutsch Show, Deutsch Show? So you would straight away. I think of those varieties. I think of Shinoda and Hiroi. I then think of my preference, and I think overall, because of availability and how they look at the cheaper end of it, Hiroi would probably be my number one choice. Shinoda on his day, when he pulls one out the bag, really pulls one out the bag. You can say that about Hiroi, but I think numbers, volume, and general likability of them when they're smaller, the Hiroi style would be the one for me. But both are exceptional. Can be no coincidence. I've never actually delved deep into the bloodline and history of either, but both in Koguriyama village, and literally Shinoda to Hiroi is about a 5-minute drive up the hill, and right there between them, two of the best and most stable Deutsch Go Sankey bloodlines in Koi. Madness. Ladies and gents, I hit the bottom. Amazing. Thank you very much for all that. I feel absolutely shot. I really do. So I think it's time for a lie down. Can't wait to. Well, actually, I'm not going to catch up with you next week because I will already be in Japan. I don't know if I will get to doing a live while I'm there. I will try my best. I've got a client with me. It's going to be an outrageous trip. If you remember back to the series I did this time last year, it was just pure, unadulterated filth every day. And that's before we look at any new fish. That's just the ones that I own between myself and the client. So cannot wait. Even one just I'm thinking of already at the day from Dainichi Toyota last time. You might remember the Kohaku I didn't show because I didn't want to net it up. Was at 88 cm. Could be bigger now already. I cannot wait to see that close up in the bowl. It's going to be fucking epic. It really, really is. So awesome stuff. Enjoy the rest of your evening, ladies and gents. I'll be back sometime. That's as much as I can tell you right now, but don't bank on the next Wednesday. Catch you in a bit.